Well, look, I mean, his legacy is complicated, whether he ends up going back to Golden State or somewhere else, because he's doing what he's done throughout his career. He's leaving one place for another when the situation gets tenuous and it doesn't look like it's going to work out for Kevin Durant. He's not afraid to be the guy that goes to test out whether the grass is always whether the grass is greener. And sometimes he's found out it is, like when he won 2 titles with the Golden State Warriors, and then very clearly found out that it wasn't, and it bit him when he was with the Brooklyn Nets. And I think the idea that his legacy would be tarnished for him to go back to the Golden State Warriors, you have to factor in whether you believe that he has to legitimize those first 2 titles. Like, if you believe that, then you're going to want to see him go somewhere else and potentially team up with a team that's on the cusp of doing something very great right now, but they just need maybe another legitimate superstar co-star to finish the job, so to speak. But I don't think it tarnishes his legacy, because this is who Kevin Durant has always been. And I agree with Neek. I don't want to see him go back to the Warriors for a number of different reasons. I'd like to see him go to the Miami Heat and try to win a title there. I'd like to see the Eastern Conference not be like 1, 2, or 3 teams and very top heavy. I'd like to see a little bit more parity throughout. But nonetheless, this is someone who at the top of the show, you heard him there. He said, I'm not, looking to be the savior. He's not looking to be the guy to swoop in and try to win your team a title and be the missing piece. He's okay in himself going to a place where it's already ready-made, and him being part of that championship, part of that core, takes that team over the edge in the championship. Like Draymond Green said it last week, or whatever it was, recently, when he said that they wouldn't have won those titles without Kevin Durant in 16 and 17. Fact is, right now, they can win titles without Kevin Durant. They don't need Kevin Durant. Of course, would they be the favorites in the West? Could they lock it up for the next couple of years? Absolutely. But I don't think it would tarnish how we view Kevin Durant, because we already view Kevin Durant in this way. Some people call him a bus rider. Some people call him a ring chaser. Like, you can throw any other name, adjective, whatever in there for Kevin Durant. That's how we're going to view him going forward. This is nothing new.
No, well, let me correct you. One, let me ask you a question, Courtney. Do you know why Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City when he left and decided to go to Golden State? Do you know why?
Outside of the beef between himself and Russell Westbrook?
No, that's not it at all. Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City because Kevin Durant couldn't be Kevin Durant in the organization. So let me give you a little history lesson on what happened in the organization. Sam Presti, right, who is the head over there, who runs everything, the VP and everything else. He comes from the culture of Greg Popovich. This is the old Sam Presti, and I love Sam Presti to death. But Sam Presti had a culture that was in place that didn't allow individuals to brand themselves. The year Kevin Durant won MVP, Nike wanted to put a big old poster of Kevin Durant outside. At the time, it was called the Chesapeake Arena, okay? Sam Presti told Nike and Kevin Durant that it had to be, I think it was 20 to 30 miles away from the arena. Kevin Durant didn't like that because he wasn't able to brand himself. Now, when you look at Sam Presti, he has completely changed and did a 360 because now he has adapted to what's new, letting guys brand themselves. But he had to learn by losing Kevin Durant. Now, look at this situation with him in Brooklyn. The one thing I will give Kevin Durant his props on is that since him and Kyrie Irving has arrived in Brooklyn, okay, Kevin Durant has been the most reliable. He has been the most consistent. He has come to work every single night. He has dealt with all Kyrie shenanigans. He's acquired James Harden. He's lost James Harden. Steve Nash haven't given him no help. And at this point, he's tired. And I don't blame Kevin Durant for wanting out. But I'm saying he can't go back to Golden State. So what I'm just justifying and clarifying up for you is we have to understand the reasons why he wanted or he wants out of this situation and why he left Oklahoma City, because that actually matters too.
No, I think that he could. I think he could probably improve his legacy if he goes somewhere else. If you think back to the 2021 playoffs, if he hits that shot, we were talking about Kevin Durant like he was back to being the top player in the NBA. He hits that, or he does hit the shot. If he's a little bit further back, they knock off the Bucks. Maybe they go and win the championship. And we talk about Kevin Durant differently. We validate him in the way that LeBron was validated when he went back to Cleveland. But my point is, it won't hurt his legacy because whatever pejorative term we've attached to his legacy for jumping ship to the Golden State Warriors is already there.
Yeah, people are going to keep saying
if he goes
it.
back and does it again,
like, people are going to continue to be on this train where you call him all these other names, you know, and whether he wants to, I mean, we all know how he feels on social media of responding to people about this, but truly, does he care at the end of the day? He's won 2 rings.
Yes.
He'll win 2 more.
Yes, he really do care. Like, no matter how much he lash out, Kevin Durant is all about basketball, and Kevin Durant do care. You don't not care and get to the point where Kevin Durant is at. You care. Kevin Durant loves the game of basketball. Kevin Durant loves his brand. If Kevin Durant, that's why he chose and said, I want to either go to Miami or I want to go to Phoenix, because he know if he goes to either one of those places and he helps deliver a title, he knows that it's going to be another step forward and it could erase a lot of things that people are saying negative about him.
Don't disagree with any of that. I mean, I just don't think that it would, like, non-legit, or I don't think he needs to legitimize either of his 2 titles that he's already won. I've said this on this show. I want to see him go, Perk, to Miami. I think that would be incredible to see him team up with Jimmy Butler and have like another duo down there, because then we can start talking about it on this show and many others, how good each duo is in the East. I can't fault the Golden State Warriors if they do go all in to try to get Kevin Durant. I just don't think it would hurt his legacy in the long run, because we view it in a specific light right now. Could he change it if he goes to Phoenix, if he goes to Miami, if he goes wherever to win another championship there? Yeah, because it's a different version of Kevin Durant at that point, but I don't think anybody can fault him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.